And we're back with another episode of Square Grouper. I'm Fox. I almost said I was you. And my co-host Dave.
Let's not think about that one too much.
No, I guess not. Well, guys, funny enough, this is like the prequel to the season finale. Also, almost our year end, right? Which is kind of crazy. We're not going to have a lot of news to talk about, so we're sort of going to kind of wing this one and see where it goes. Dave, you got anything for him?
I mean, as we round up the year here, 2023, people still moldy flowers still coming out, especially from some of these like really hype places and California partnerships. And, you know, I understand that the growing conditions aren't favorable in Florida, even though, you know, I know they're all growing indoor, but when they say that to me, you know, that's what they're saying, like drops and spikes of humidity and things that people from California are not used to dealing with, which is understandable, but not an excuse, you know? So once again, hold on. God damn.
I kind of want to leave this in.
Once again, you know, posted some moldy flower from a dispensary with a California partnership. And people are just like in my DMs, bro, like defending mold. It's crazy. And like I said, like, damn, when it's any other dispensary, like, where are you guys at? You guys aren't defending it then. You're joining in. And, you know, I don't post it to pick on any, you know, certain dispensary or anything. You know, it's just the fact that it's still happening. And, you know, I understand when patients are buying fucking cheap weed from shitty places, you know, they might end up with mold and quality control's not there. But, you know, some of these big collabs, bro, like, where the fuck's the QC at?
I will tell you. So it's funny as you're saying all that in my mind, I'm like running the scenarios behind the scene, the shit that you guys aren't going to see when you go and buy this moldy weed. So it's going to go down a couple of ways. Worst case scenario, they don't actually know. Let's start with best case scenario. They don't have any QA, QC, whatever you're calling it, quality assurance, quality control. Some places go by different names, whatever. And that's just a big oversight in the mismanagement of medicine for cannabis patients. That's actually done a lot more than you think because they don't want to just pay one motherfucker to do that job. They usually will get someone from the corporate office that may come in every now and then to sort of have that job description filled and position filled out on paper. But ideally, it's never anyone who knows any fucking thing about cannabis or the quality control of what they're looking for in any of those products, whether it's flower or not. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, they have a quality control or quality assurance person, guy, girl, whomever, don't care. And this person's like, hey, this whole batch that we just harvested, trimmed, and put all of this money and everything to getting ready to this point, it doesn't pass.
Throw it away.
Also, visually, you can see it. So we're past the point of just not passing a test. A visual, you know, once it gets to a point where it's that much, it's a problem. Here's where most people or whoever the QA has to answer to, whether it's the lab director or someone above them, basically says, no, we're not going to do that. Let them complain. And that unfortunately happens more often than not. And if that QA, QC person tries to stand up, if they're working for a bigger company, they've already signed NDAs, so they can't say shit. You get put in a weird position where you're not allowed to do your job the way that you should. And sometimes it just falls short, you know, because like kind of a mixture of situation A and B, where it's like no one wants to take that L no matter what, even though that should be part of it. Because I was just talking to someone that I just fucking respect our conversations. And we got on the subject of growing, and this is something that they did commercially out on the West Coast. They have a pretty good idea of it, but nothing is guaranteed with cannabis, nothing. So like when you're selling to your investors or your partners that you're going, what you're able to pull off, it's under the guise and the whole idea that you're going to make it through this cultivation process without anything like, popping up for mold or pesticides or, heavy metals or arsenic or any of that shit. Most people never account for that side of, what happens when these plants aren't what they plan them to be. And nobody, and I mean no one, is happily prepared to take a huge L on trashing the whole batch. Most people are going to try to get out what they can out of it and sell what they can, and then basically just chalk it up to either not knowing or, oh, I'm sorry, because the patience comes second. Once it's such a large business like that, it's the picture to sell you. The fact is, like, yeah, they're a medical cannabis company, and yeah, they can only dispense to you because they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars, getting there to that point. But the truth is, they don't give a flying fuck about you. Most of them. Some are different, please don't, like, I know you hear me talk a lot negatively, maybe in a different way than my co-host may. My trust is just very little from working the inside of it and reading a lot of the stories and stuff that have resonated, doing this show with him. But the truth is, a lot of these places don't give a shit. And you would see different kinds of practices if they did. And some of them you do, some of them are quick to call themselves out, and I can respect that. But you don't see it enough in this business or in our Florida medical market to say, yeah, these guys are upstanding producers. It's like we still got a lot to go. And this is why I've always been super adamant on home grow, because I could pick any 10 people that I grew up with and guarantee you that you would probably find a cleaner product just from a home grow from someone who would be capable of doing it.
And then take it, of course, they're not scaling it to the levels. That's going to be the first argument, right? Like, that's the first argument I get. Okay, like this motherfucker said to me the other day, if you can grow weed that's not moldy, then put some skin in the game. And I'm just like, dude, what a joke. Like, definitely check that box, did not have moldy weed. And then, I'm like, none of my people do either.
It's not about the weed at that point.
But then they want to argue, well, you guys aren't growing for fucking this many patients. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that's what cocksuckers said.
I mean, I've banged out like 2,000 plants in a residential, and then 15,000 outside, and then helping run one of these big ass MSOs in our home state, helping them with their very first plants, harvest, everything, dude. Not at that point, it's not about the plants. And most people don't understand that. It is about environment control.
Yeah, and drawing cure and distro.
That's just one part of it, but it all starts with environment control for all the things that we touched up on. Where people are having issues with mold or whatever, the environment control. When you're on a large scale like that, it is just as much about your environment and everything to do with it, on top of growing the plants that you're choosing to grow in that environment.
And then in bigger facilities, you kind of get like anomalies, right? Like maybe pockets of moisture and things like that.
You get all sorts of anomalies because you're trying to replicate the sun and you're inconsistently doing that, but, don't get me wrong. Like
trying to fake nature.
Even the best grows in the world have their downside,
right.
But.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw a little bit of, just a little bit of, just what people say, or like some people will be like, well,
sorry,
Fox is over here having a coughing attack. I got him sick over the mic somehow.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna say this. You sound terrible, but I appreciate you doing this.
I'm okay. My voice is fucked up, but. Other people will probably be like, oh, it's the Mylar, it's got to be prepackaged. They're getting molded in the Mylar. Or, oh, our distribution drivers don't know what they're doing. Or processing and warehouse don't know what they're doing. So it's just like, it's all these people pointing fingers and shit. But at the end of the day, the finger I'd like to point is to the Florida Department of Health, which have, I think, only officially recalled maybe 2 or 3 batches of flowers since the program's inception. And we've had lots of more moldy flower than 3 times. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, people, you said it perfectly earlier, like people pay this money for their card and this and that and think that they're in a fucking, you know, oh, it's from the store. Like someone commented earlier, like, oh, my homie, all he cares about is flipping packs, bro, and profit. These stores are constantly trying to improve. And I'm just like spitting milk out my nose. Like, bro, where the fuck you think you're at, dude? You think Nestle, you think fucking all these big ass companies, Pfizer, you think fucking, you know, Johnson and Johnson, when they knew they were giving people nut cancer with baby powder, they probably covered that shit up. So for, you know, the current mind state of the consumer in America is that they have this giant trust in corporations and companies. They think if someone's done everything they can to form a company and register with the state, that they're safe in their hands. And we see a general mistrust of people. And that's what I said that to that guy. I'm like, well, dude, I'm sorry, you know, you've only known one person to buy weed from your whole fucking life. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean?
You know what you said?
What?
Puss asshole.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I had to. It was a good one.
He was a puss asshole for sure. But whatever, bro. You know, people, and then you get that, you know, weird thing where, you know, people go somewhere and they want to be a fanboy of a company, or, you know, they really want to support these companies, wear their hats and merch, and then they feel like it's part of their identity. And then they feel like when something goes wrong, you know, they're not only defending the company, they're defending themselves and their choices and the way they've spent their money. And I'm here to tell you, bro, like, you know, I'm not attacking you when I post this shit. Like, I'm not attacking your favorite company. You guys know I'm going to post mold. You know what I mean? So I just want you guys to know, like, you guys don't defend everyone else. But if it's a Cali brand or something like this, everyone's all up in arms about it, bro, and trying to blame Florida. Well, if you can't grow non-moldy weed in Florida, guys, I guess it's
you can't grow weed anywhere, assholes.
The fuck home to California, bro. Go the fuck home.
Strong feelings and sentiments, but
go home,
sentiments.
Grow it there and send it here. It'll still end up on the shelf.
Long live the legacy. You know, like, yeah, I support both of those statements strongly. But, you know, I mean, there are MMTCs that, I'll say it, and I'll never be able to prove it, and it doesn't matter. But in the early days of this program, of course, they brought shit in from out of state. Why wouldn't they? You guys think because they run a company, they're not going to break the law? What a fucking joke. How do you think they got the genetics in their fucking, you know, in their facilities? And if they're willing to do that, why the fuck would they not be willing to bring in liters and liters and liters and liters of distillate, especially when they were selling it for 60 a fucking gram to Florida patients, 60 for a half gram at one time. So I just want to remind everyone, you know, in America at least, just because you skip all the fucking, you know, do the song and dance for the state and register and do all this shit and have employees, it doesn't mean that there's just no one to point a finger at but a company at the end of the day, which is a hard realization for a lot of people to realize, bro. Like we've talked before, you know, people don't trust like having their own chickens and eggs, you know. My buddy has chickens, and I'll tell people I eat the eggs, and they fucking freak out, bro. They think it's disgusting. But they'll go into McDonald's. I mean, fucking, they'll go into McDonald's and eat fucking plastic egg in the morning, or they'll go to Walmart and buy the cheapest fucking eggs there are, and have no problem cracking the motherfuckers. But you get 24 for like $2.
And they're fucking sickening, bro.
I know.
I don't know though. Well, this is another conversation, but sometimes cheap food, like when you're used to that taste, it's like.
No, dude. I mean, I totally get it. Like
the quality's going down too, though. I feel like with a lot of food, but it's a completely different fucking topic.
It is. But you know
about
what?
The same.
Yeah, why not? My little tidbit on that is something I recently learned is like they did this study, and you know, people who eat ultra processed foods, they're one of the results of eating that stuff on a normal basis is it tricks your body into wanting more caloric intake. So on a regular, people who normally eat that shit are eating in excess of like an extra 600 calories or so. Like, it's really weird how it works out. Like,
maybe because there's no nutrition in it, just empty
no,
calories.
yeah, not from eating it normally, but like people that would just eat it, that you would eat more of it to the point of eating an extra. Like, it's weird how they were breaking it down. And like, honestly, dude, like, yo, cannabis really did help me with my health and stuff. Like, it'll be another episode another time, but like, yeah, it's funny that you dive into that. Like, as you know, people should give a fuck what they eat and what's in their system and, you know, what's going in their bodies. And like,
bro, it's a living meme. Like, I know people that fucking will buy hash, bro, for 60 to 100 a gram, but
like,
literally
I only smoke no-till organic, but yo, let's go to Cane's real quick and fucking get this Caniac combo.
Let's go get a Caniac combo. Let's go to fucking Chick-fil-A, 55 ingredients. It's crazy, bro. We're like, you know, people will have $20,000 rigs and they're eating off a flaky Teflon pan with their fucking check engine lights on.
Bro. One Art Basel, I'm not going to say where or who it was, but there was like 4 dudes in the room with me. I was coming home to visit. So like, you know, nothing but like a couch in the room, no table, nothing. $1 million worth of glass between all of us.
Right.
And I was just like,
you guys went to McDonald's after?
No, we went to Nobu.
I'm
like, but you got, yeah, but it's like, yeah, the funny.
You got McDoubles DoorDashed.
No, yeah, later we did. It's like, why go spend $2 bands on an expensive ass meal when we're gonna DoorDash some really cheap, greasy shit later? It was almost like, what was the point?
That's funny. I mean, you're gonna digest it anyway, right? I mean, that's the thing. Is like, I try to aim for you know, not processed food. Like most fast food has like a cancer warning now in California. Like if you download apps, fast food apps, it shows it on the apps.
They would
now.
Put that warning in the air in California if they could.
I bet they would, but I don't care, bro. It's still true. It's still true. So anyway, I mean, the air is cancerous in California, but point being,
in some places,
you know, bro, you got to go for that. Like, you just want nutrition, bro, and the cheapest shit has none because it's about money. It's about profit. So we can compare a fucking, you know, $1.99 McDouble or however much they are now to, they're probably fucking $4 now. Compare that to a fucking $40 eighth from a dispensary. Like, especially as inflation goes up, bro, the price of everything has gone up. Like, I know that these, you know, vertical licenses, bro. I just saw an article that says, for people to live the same lifestyle they lived in 2020, 21, they have to spend an average of $11,000 more a year right now. So we scale that up between, you know, everything you need to run a fucking vertical license in Florida, bro. I mean, you know, it's a scary thought. So just like the license increase, you know, I do believe the patients will eat the cost increase. And that's why the state of Florida, although I think it's hilarious to ask these people for more money, I still think that they need to remember it's a medical program, but obviously it's not, right? It seems to be a fucking PTSD program for most people so they can go get hype California brands and 710 Labs and whatever fucking shit that's here now. And then we have legitimate sick people that do get their card, that are going to fucking Trulieve and Cureleaf and getting complete boof. And I'm not going to sit here, guys, and I know a lot of you guys get mad at me. Yeah, I mean, obviously the program has changed a lot. Like, you know, probably some decent weed. I'm not here to say that the weed you guys are buying from these places isn't good or doesn't get you high.
It's not.
Fucking Dark Eyes Vodka gets you high. But at the end of the day, it's just about where you're spending your dollar. And I also understand a lot of people don't know people or don't know how to know people. So like, I'm obviously a little bit biased. Those people approach me, bro, right? It doesn't happen to the normal person. So I do try to keep that in mind. That's my rant, sorry.
No, don't apologize. Rant all you want. You know, I go through waves, dude. I'm going to be honest with you here. Like, I go through waves of being so upset about it because I do have skin in the game. And then other parts of that wave include, like, being really pissed off about the certain state of things because of my personal history coming up in this program, and just it still like boils my blood to this day. Like there's just some shit I'm not cool with. But then I see how things are going, and then on the other side of it, I kind of just it kind of leaves me without words sometimes. Like what I'm trying to say is it's a weird place to go between giving so much of a fuck that it's like not even it's not like it enrages me, but it just there's not much good to say about it. To like almost where it's like, you know, until I'm now just more focused on the patients getting grow rights, because the quicker we can I want to say what I want to say, but it's just not going to sound good from everything I just said over the last 90 seconds. It's going to sound very bipolar. I just think that we should be able to grow. Like, part of me honestly thinks that if we could do that, I would be more inclined to just go back home and start doing what I was doing and start showing people how to take care of themselves, show people how to make their own products. You know, I couldn't fathom making all the things to sell, you know, to all the people. That's a lot. But I could empower just as many people to, like, you know, you want to support me, great. I have my, you know, specific things here and there, and they're proven they're great. You know, support the brand if you want to. Always loved and appreciated. But I think that by building a community of like-minded people, not just like, dude, I would vet people too. Like, of course I'm going to fucking charge them, but like, I wouldn't just charge a class to like, I would put on educational classes, but then I would differentiate between how I would do that so someone could learn and monetize it for themselves, because you have to weed out the people that are just trying to get another hustle in to fucking stack up, because you want to get someone in there who understands, someone who lost someone who has a reason to get in and want to help the people, you know, someone who lost someone when they couldn't find them, or so, like, dude, there's so many fucking reasons why you'd want to get into it for the right reasons.
And I want to jump off that real quick. So when I tell people, because dude, there's a lot of fucking people moving here right now, crazy, New York, California, in my DMs and shit, and I'll say to them like, you know, we just want to be able to grow, and they're like, well, just grow anyway. Well, no shit, motherfucker, I know that, okay. It's the fact that what Fox just said. Like, there's a bunch of people that just can't break the law. It doesn't have to be some weird spiritual shit, but they just cannot break the fucking law. And if they do, they get, like, I don't know, people are dumb as fuck, bro. I know people that break the law once and get caught. You know what I mean? So, you know, I know that we can do whatever the fuck we want, especially in South Florida. Okay. But it's the fact about Granny Sue that's fucking 85 years old in fucking Jacksonville, or fucking Lakeland, that wants to be able to grow weed and not stress. And like Fox said, bro, there's too many fucking people in here. Like, and there's a lot of like 500,000 card holders. Like, you know, people should be able to grow their own shit. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, like, it's just weird, bro. It's like, it's weird to have the page for so long. And then, you know, people like, I'll get messages like, why don't you talk about True Leave? Like, you need to focus on them. And I'm just like, I'm like, bro, just scroll back. Like, what the fuck, you know? But I've also changed a lot too. And, you know, I see a lot of new pages and shit with dispensary reviews. I'm kind of hating, but like, I get it. You know, you guys want to be part of the program and review shit. And like, you know, when I was fucking 17 and 19, like, you know, when I used to get weed and take pictures of it and shit like that, like, yeah, I get it. Like, not from dispensaries, but you know, I get it. Like, you want to take pictures of shit and you want to review it and you want to produce content. And then there's some people that are reviewing like legal and traditional market products, which is cool. But I just want to, you know, just like events that have both there. You know, I'm starting to see a mix, and I don't know if it's a good idea, guys. I really don't know if it's a good idea for both. I don't know.
For patients to have reviews?
No, well, I guess I'm just like talking. I'm like talking like I'm an idiot talking to myself. No, I just don't think it's.
I'm
I
just
just see a lot of people in the streets mixing with people in the office, and I don't think it's a good idea. And like I know a lot of those people might have their own grows at home, might be doing their own thing and shit, but when I see dispensary booths set up next to fucking people that I've known that have been helping people and doing their thing down south, it's like I don't know how to feel about it, bro. It's weird to me. Maybe that's what has to happen. Maybe it has to mix, but I'm not going to. So get fucked.
super fucked. Proper
I'm
fucked.
good. If it ain't completely illegal, bro, I ain't there. No,
whatever, dude. I mean, part of me feels like, and again, being honest, it's a weird place to be where it's like you come up legacy and like it only works one way or the other. So I guess I'm still blessed because there's very few people who are like, okay, never done this before. Can I get a license? Cool. Got a license. We're going to get into cannabis. And weirdly enough, that's common, right? Mm-hmm. And, that doesn't work out. And then they're like, okay, we're stuck. It's a total loss. We have to sell and go to the next thing or, recoup our losses or go live with our parents because we fucking mortgage our, whatever the fuck it is, right? Nah, legacy folks ain't like that. So like, I've had little stints where I've had, medical drops in Colorado and, in Oklahoma, very early on in the early days of Cali, which was even sort of accidental for what was going on at the time. Oregon, a couple of places and like all super weird, some regulated, some not. And it's like, I don't know. Every experience I've had with legal cannabis as like someone who is just like one person doing everything is not. It's not great. It's like unless you have the capital that's real. Like I'm gonna just be real. If you had something that you could roll into to take the hits at the beginning and do all the things, then yeah. But like often it makes me feel like when I was having to do all those things, I suffered as a grower a little bit. I didn't have the time that I wanted to refine and learn new things in the lab when I was like washing or just, figuring out how to isolate heads in, a better way, which is the goal. You should want to do it better every fucking time. It's not like a food recipe where like you're like, okay, I've learned how to make a really good pineapple upside down cake. In baking you have to be very exact. It's not like cooking where if you say I have a pasta dish, there's a lot of room for whatever, washing hash is not like that. If you're doing it to, I don't know. Some people get lazy and just sort of do that, and it kind of works, but it's really hard to get good variables doing that if you're not like washing it on like a head by head basis, which kind of sounds extreme. But again, I couldn't focus on any of that stuff because I was juggling all of these things and then like giving away massive amounts of fucking medicine, like, which is probably not a great idea in the long run. But I mean, like, yeah, it was. But at the time, I was so caught up in the message that I wasn't like, oh, fuck, I still got to pay these bills.
You weren't taking care of yourself.
Fuck exactly. No. And I'm still, I'm doing a better job of it now, but I've never been the best to do that.
And that's something, bro, that, and it's happened to me too. It's not something that, we really talk about a lot, right? But I don't think a lot of people realize that about people that help people sometimes, bro. Sometimes people don't even break even, bro. People get so caught up in doing what they're doing, and fuck, bro, that shit can hurt your pockets sometimes. So,
it did for many years.
For holding it down for a long fucking time, bro. Before most of these motherfuckers even knew what the fuck was going on.
It's like I was emotionally kicking myself in the nuts and
You
forcing
were
myself to
punishing
smile.
yourself. You were punishing yourself.
Well, yeah. I
Through
mean,
service,
through
right?
service, I guess, for some things that I felt were my fault, but in reality weren't. And then other parts of it, it's like you said it like that. Helpers often, you meet with other like-minded people that obviously feel the same way, but to different extents. Some people have figured out how to do it with what overflows in their cup, they can easily pour over. And then there's some people that will,
Empty their cup.
empty it or always
Pour
hold
one
it
out
in
for the homies.
in a way where it's like no matter what comes in, something is going out. It's like when you tilt the glass a certain way over something and it both fills the glass but pours out of the glass. And I guess that's the way I would describe people, like,
how about this? Your cup's going to flow over, but you might put a little crack at the bottom of it just to, make a little extra come out. And before you know it, you got an empty cup, bro.
Yeah, but it's on an endless cycle because life never stops. So it's constantly flowing and pouring. Nothing ever stops. Everything keeps going, regardless of how stuck in a moment you think you are.
And it's just rare because if we look at cannabis as a whole, like there aren't a lot of people in service to others. And I don't mean that in like employees there's not a lot of people helping others in the community. It's usually profit driven. And no. I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't back in the day. It obviously was, bro. When weed was fucking $5,000 a pound or whatever for shitty indoor weed, of course it was about helping yourself. But, nowadays we don't really see that a lot. People, it's very egotistic. But it's part of it though. You know what I mean? So, thank you, bro, for, if anyone is, new is listening, like Fox has been doing CBD stuff for a long time. And, back when, people were finding out it saved people's lives, bro. And
back when that shit wasn't cool. And then it became
it wasn't trendy.
It's like crazy. It's like, it wasn't trending. It's like a kilo of isolate would have been like a little under $100,000.
CBD isolate.
And then like now, and then like I blinked, and then everyone and their mom and every Karen and their dogs had CBD companies, and they were everywhere.
Me and you will be in Hollywood, bro. Hollywood, Florida. People are like pulling out CBD isolate jugs out of their fucking bedroom and shit, bro.
Yeah. Legit.
Can you get rid of this?
Yeah.
What an insulting question to you.
It happened a lot. But it was crazy, dude. There used to be like Swiss businessmen that would fly in on jets and like load up on that shit and fly out, and it wasn't sketch, but it always made it feel sketch. You're like, this is like, I was like, this is probably as close as I'm ever gonna get to feeling like like on some like real Miami shit.
Right, in your own way, right?
Yeah, so I was like, all right.
Selling bricks of CBD isolate.
It's like, ain't no puss-ass hoe.
He's like, tell the Swiss guy, like, ask me he'll take us to Nobu again when he comes. No, I'm just joking. But...
Dude, they were in and out, not like clockwork.
They
never
were like,
late.
Touchdown, get the fuck back up.
Awesome. I wish everyone was like that. Those are interesting years. And then it shifted so quickly. And then like now, the CBD is like, don't get me wrong, it's got its place it's valid for what it is. It's just not a cure all, So if it can help you in some way, especially if you're like new to this shit, then great. I'm always going to be an advocate for it. I picked a very specific lane where I wasn't just like, I'm making CBD to like help your migraine. Like, no, I worked with kids that were having seizures, and I worked with autistic kids, mostly nonverbal, who were having behavioral issues. And I dove into each case specifically, learned to formulate products on a patient by patient level, which trickled back to like doing stuff more broadly the way people normally do and having more targeted approaches for how I wanted to make my products. That's really all it meant. So like, I don't know. I mean, people had their own lanes, and I'm not knocking, like, dude, some people There's a couple of topical companies, one on the West Coast that I think is awesome. Like I make a topical that I fucking love, and I used to do them every holidays, and I don't do them anymore. I haven't had time to do anything, dude. It's been fucking crazy, actually, but it's a whole other thing. Things have just been crazy, and now you can just find it anywhere. You have hemp stores that are selling this stuff, but then we've moved on to like D8, D9, THCA flower, which has its own set of rules. It's just interesting how the genetics are essentially working, where it's just like it's not just flower that you're pulling early. It's its own dedicated genetic that is like it's sort of just like it's like an offset of like CBD genetics or anything like that, where it's just these, instead of it crossing over, it just doesn't. And it's an interesting concept because I've been approached about a project for it. And so I've been looking into it because I have some genetics that naturally sit under that category, but I never thought of using it for that application. And people are, that's the thing now. Not that I would know, not that I would. I can't say that I would try it. Here I am trying to make it, but it's just an interesting space between like what's in the gray area, and then like what's going on with like legacy and or legal cannabis. Legal cannabis is kind of in the shitter on a state by state basis. We follow a bunch of patients pages all across the U.S. and it's kind of like a different temperature in the room, but more or less the problems are the same. There's too many producers. There's not enough stuff being sold. There's a lot of, California is one of the ones that is going to, continue to produce because they have a worldwide appeal. So, if you can get a product from California to any place that you are around the world, you can pretty much upsell it for a lot of money, regardless of whether it's good or not. Even better if it's good. I don't think that's ever going to stop, nor would I want it to. Good for them. I don't have no hate. Every place has its own weed culture, and Miami, Florida, and Miami in itself are two different ones. But where I grew up, especially now, the weed culture in Miami is something that I'm like, I'm really excited to see it growing the way it is, and I'm not talking about
dispensaries.
Yeah.
You're not talking about cookies open in Westchester.
No. Oh, damn, they got one in Westchester? Shit.
I'm pretty sure. But, like, yeah, we want our own shit. Like, go the fuck home to California, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. Whoa. But I guess there's that national weed culture, too, right? And cookies is a national brand.
It is. Some people would be like,
I don't fuck with cookies. I don't support them.
So here's the thing. Since we were already...
I listened to Burner Rap since he had hair, but...
Since we're fucking... Oh, my God. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. All right. So a lot of people are going to go in that store with their kids just being like, what do you mean this is in the closed store? And that's the kind of appeal that Cookies has. That's the whole point.
I think they sell clothes there.
And even better. They'll fucking, if they can't get you on whatever they're doing with cards, then they can get you with the merch. Some of that merch is pretty dope. I'm not even going to hate, but I just... like I said, I like the idea of the Mylars, and Cookies push that a lot. But then more often than not, in the very beginning, their stuff wasn't bad. But I've seen okay stuff from them. I haven't seen anything great. So, like, hate aside, I just look at stuff consistently where it's like, he did so well branding that shit that it doesn't matter. He could be shitting in everyone. He could spend all day dropping a turd in every one of those Mylars, and he'd probably still sell half of them. Because
that's like everyone that asks me about Cookies and Jungle Boys. I haven't been there, bro. I don't have a card. I wouldn't go. I mean, no offense to Jungle Boys, but
so here's the thing:
why would I go give my money to a store when I
got homies that work at 710. I have homies that work at Jungle Boys, and then one of my homies was the dude making all the rosin at Cookies, but they let him go. And so I don't really know who's doing that anymore. So I can't like, the only thing I'm saying that is like, and I'm saying that on air and on an episode because you see me talk about them with neutrality, like just being neutral, regardless of who's doing what. But it does give me an interesting idea of how some things are done. And, like the good is obviously good. And, that's the problem with any producer on a large scale like that is consistency, and that doesn't happen overnight, but it's not, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. We get back to, do I think patients could do a better job growing 6 to 12 plants? Yes. And it's not their job to sit there and provide for the rest of Florida. They just have to be able to take care of their fucking selves. It's not the same conversation,
Bro,
like,
I love when someone, don't get me wrong, some people can't grow weed for shit. Even, doesn't matter how many times they try. But I love when I see someone grow weed for the first time and harvest it and get through the drying cure. Maybe not the best way, especially if they're down here.
No one ever does.
But then they're like, oh my God, I got so fucking high off my own weed. Like, it freaked me out.
Because they were smoking
like, congratulations. Like, it's what it could be like. Don't smell, don't tell. Don't sell, maybe? I don't know. But, bro, it's crazy. So
I wash all my plants, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Bro, it's just, this is all hemp, guys, but just, it's crazy, bro, to think like,
as a whole,
it would be like, dude, it's like fucking going and getting tomatoes from Red Gold, like a giant farm, or growing a few tomato plants outside or in a tent.
And then making sauce out of them.
Bro, of course you're fucking, all right, Mr. Concentrate. But, it's like, of course, bro, it's probably going to be a little bit better. It might mean something to you or whatever, dude. You know what I mean?
Single source tomatoes, motherfucker.
You can single source tomato sauce, cold press. But, if you can, and then it gets down to shit like, dude, you can monitor your trichomes and pull the plants down when you want, stuff like that. You just really don't have control over buying from the store, bro. And
all I know is that I don't know nothing.
What's the earliest you've seen a dispensary pull plants? What week?
5.
I thought you were going to say no comment. I signed an NDA.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. They might come after me now. Fuck.
Week 5, we pulled them down.
Yeah.
And that was for rosin or no?
Not for anything I was doing. It's one of those things you walk in and inside you make that, like, something super sour makes you just kind of bite your face and go like sideways grin. Like, yeah, I was like that. Like, ooh, okay, like, cool. Well, that's great. Show me what else you got, and you just keep it rolling, because
you like eat someone's food and it's raw, like the middle of the chicken breast is raw, and you're like, oh, it's delicious, thank you. Like, I'm full.
First of all, I come over with the meat thermometer because I don't play that shit. Secondly,
I don't even know if that comparison made sense. But
it does.
Point. I mean, use a meat thermometer, guys.
Yeah. Don't kill anyone you're trying to cook for.
Because cooking is magic. So is growing plants,
unless you're trying to kill them, magic
too? Is it plant magic?
What?
When you're mixing a fucking concoction of stuff to pour on your plants, is that brujeria?
It depends on whether you're using. It depends on what you're using of things from the earth, or if you're.
Okay, so if you're using synthetic ingredients, is that fucking pharmakia then? Like, is that like,
yeah,
bad? Fox is like, yeah, bro. Of course. Anyway, not to turn this into the esoteric cannabis show, which does sound pretty cool. But
yeah, it does. Hold on to that.
But bro, and that's what a lot of people like will just never understand. Like, you guys slam shit and grow. It would never plants.
Catch on. No one's gonna be able to spell esoteric. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
But you guys like grow with salts and stuff. Like, no hate to you guys. Like, you guys grow amazing weed. I'll smoke it. But there's something about once you've gone crazy enough, like, you want natural sun-grown weed. I don't know what it is. It's nice to have it every now and then, right? You like I fucking did when I went crazy. I told myself once, like, I'm not smoking no weed I didn't grow myself.
You know how
and that change into like my friends grew it. So it's just a lot, bro. It's a lot. It's people, take care of this thing for a while and then they kill it and give it to everybody. Anyway, I don't know.
No, that got me thinking. What I would compare the salt growing like when I talked about like when you're growing on a large scale with salts, it's kind of like if you had to cook or make a big stew or sauce for like 100, 200, 300 people, which means you're constantly stirring, constantly changing, constantly adjusting, even within a recipe for something you've made 1,000 times, right? That is the equivalent of watching and running grows that way when you're running salts off of, especially if it's an automated system, because you have to be able to watch and notate things based on your environment. The science behind it, I really love. And there's results. Don't get me wrong. You can push them and get fucking 2+ pounds per plant. Killer. I don't knock that. Everything has its place, because if you do it right and you flush it, you get great profits off of that much biomass, And if the heads are grown properly and you're not spraying and you kind of keep it to a minimal, it's cool. There are tendencies that sort of resin has versus like organic, but I'm not going to say one's no good. That would be completely biased of me, though. I am biased. Like when it comes to my shit, I'm not going to do that. But if I ever had a situation where like I needed to and I had a decent amount of space where I could do it, the space would pay for itself and help me continue to do things the way that I want to do them, so that I could continue to tier things properly. And while the investment for something like that initially isn't like the cheapest, it would allow me to be able to, like, again, I would sell that shit a lot cheaper to the patients than I would sell my organic Nortel stuff, because there's, and people do that the other way around. They might fucking dump all that money into a room and push all that indoor for stupid fire. But, when we're talking like patients, I would just do it the other way around,
Right, and one's going to be easier to scale, right? So,
yeah, though, I think all patients deserve organic shit, but I think like, Florida tried that with the greenhouses, and this is kind of where we're at with that. So,
I couldn't imagine having a bunch of tables in a facility here, and I'm sure it'll happen. It's maybe already happened. I don't think so.
Oh, no, yeah, it did. I can't say much because of the NDA, but like, yeah, definitely, for sure. Huge.
But like, yeah, bro, it's
like 200 in a room, rolling tables type shit. Like, yeah, like big. But you don't hear anything about. I don't hear anything about that stuff coming out, or
advertising as living soil and shit.
Well, no, not even that. Just like, I'm not saying it's any good. I don't know if it is, nor, whether I'm biased about it or not. But that's a whole other thing.
Man, if we could just go in, bro, we would. But
fuck, oh my god, that would be. That'd be our first 3-hour episode. I'd be sitting here with like a fucking list.
But like, we try to be respectful, bro. The game's the game, and it's fucked up down here, and things are weird. So it's like, we're trying to do our own thing, guys, and it's working. Me and I'm like a little lagged out a little bit right now. We should be definitely. I'd really like to do something for Art Basel next year, bro. I'd like to give us at least a year to try
prepare.
To have our own sesh down there or something. Yeah, So,
yeah, a little square grouper sesh.
Something, bro, because it's like, it's like, guys, we definitely want to do some video content. I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. Me and Fox originally talked about doing educational videos. Like, that was our plan before this was ever even thought about.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And we have a whole list of them, bro. You know what I mean? Like, under 5-minute educational videos. I might cut this out. So, but,
You can't give them the juice unless there's a Patreon and they want to pay for it. I wish we could bleep shit out, because I would be like, damn, I wish they had a pay. Fucking A.
Unedited version, bro. You got to pay for it.
Yeah, legit.
for us to talk
unedited
about
episodes and
crazy personal issues. But no, I'm joking.
No, fuck yeah. Pay them. Have them pay us to talk our shit instead of us paying some asshole to listen. That sounds so much better. What the fuck are you talking about? That is legit.
I just hate to monetize stuff, bro. What's wrong with me?
Me too, but you know what, dude? I need money, and so do you. And I saw.
Speak for yourself. I'm homeless. I'm in a van right now.
Joke's on you. I'm in my car with my dog. My neighbors are looking at me like, what the fuck?
Bro, it's crazy to see our generation live out of vans, bro. Not to diss anyone or be mean. Like, some people got some awesome vans, but it's just crazy to see the fucking change, bro.
If I were 10 years younger, I probably would be doing van life.
Right.
But I'm at that point now. I've traveled the country in some super sketch situations. Bro, I've been robbed. I've been homeless because of cannabis, and fucking where I got stuck in California, which that's a whole nother fucking
just
story.
Somewhere you don't want to be homeless.
No, and I had to tough that shit out for a lot longer than I wanted to, dude. Honestly, not great. That's a whole nother episode and conversation. But like, just being in those weird spots, like I don't feel like I need to be in a van with my dog. You know, not to knock it. That's just me. Like, I got all my shit out.
You're telling me you don't like being in a vehicle that the police can search anytime? That's crazy, bro. Why not?
Nah.
But.
And if you're ever, as a dude in a van like that, and you're ever riding with a chick, you're going to get pulled over.
Oh, my God.
You're going to get pulled over.
In the van.
And they're just,
you want to live in my van with me?
Yeah.
Travel the country.
No, they're going to make sure you're not fucking trying to murder that poor girl.
Oh, my God.
You know, there's rules to van shit. I don't.
Van life.
I don't think that the burden and weights of van ownership outweigh the pleasures of van ownership.
Easy.
Unless you're like, you have to be like doing so well that you have a driver and one of those like Sprinter vans. Those are the ones that really don't get pulled over. If you have like a Mercedes Sprinter van, no one pulls you over. I've seen those things doing 100+ on the road, and they're just like, "Oh, okay, it must be a family of eight inside, or a fucking rich rapper." You know,
or a commercial van, like they think it's a business, and they like pulled over. It's like smoke billowing out.
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah, but yeah, so if it's something like that, I imagine that's kind of cool. Or like, I don't know, if I would have one of those to do road trips in, but I couldn't do it all the time.
Permanently.
Yeah, that's just.
And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. I think that they get in situations, and the people I was talking about, I'm not like, they have nice vans. I'm talking about Sprinters or maybe Ford vans. And, you know, I get it, man. It's like a year, 2 year life, like traveling around. I'm not knocking it. I just also noticed that a lot of people are ending up in vans, and it's just weird, you know? I mean, I get it though. Fuck.
No,
right
shit's
now, mortgages
expensive,
are high
dude.
as fuck.
I know a dude who converted a U-Haul to like a little like mobile mini home thing, and that shit was dope. Just to get him in between to do something else, and like,
right.
I think that's the thing too, is our generation got stuck with like a big, large bill from the last two, and then, you know, when it comes to the real estate boom, not a lot of them really had a chance to come in at anything that was even considered fair unless they had a help or head start first, which is a very select few in comparison to the rest.
And with interest rates being so high, even the rich are spending their money right now. It didn't seem
like, so like it does make sense to buy a van and, you know, do it that way, because at least you're saving money. You know, you can take, you know, your home could be stolen, which kind of sucks. But, you know, that's the thing where it's
they
like,
stole my fucking house.
Oh my God.
It had everything in it, bro.
That should be funny.
I even had a fucking micro bucket grow under the bed, and they stole everything I owned.
It's like, bro, I just sprouted some Bubba Kush seeds. Fuck.
I know there's someone trying to grow weed in their van right now. That shit's funny as fuck.
Oh,
bro.
dude. Yeah, I mean, and more power to them if they get the fucker to flower.
That's pretty
like
dope.
Anyone can grow it. Like, I want to see you flower that thing out. Best of
Oh my
luck.
God.
But yeah, like I don't know, yeah, I can understand it. There were times where I was like, should I get a van?
You would have killed for a van. There's times I would have loved to have a fucking van to
Fuck
sleep in the back
yeah.
of. Because sleeping in the back of a car is fucking horrible, bro.
Oh God, you're telling me I can't even
Fuck
do it.
that. Or putting
I
your
can't.
seat back and trying to
Oh,
sleep.
that
Yeah,
no,
right.
it's just I have to see like I have to sleep like a fucking zombie, like sitting up because I just can't do it. It's like, and then yeah, this is not cool. It's just oh God, you're making me. I got to do another big road trip here soon, and it's making me because I hate like stopping to. I usually just keep it going, so I'll crash a few hours and just keep it rolling.
No, me too, bro. Because every time I stay at a sketch motel or hotel somewhere, it's like weird shit. So I'm like, I don't even like stopping,
Fuck
Especially in the
no.
middle of the country and shit. I'm good, bro.
No, I'm glad that we're doing this episode. The next one we do, we're going to try to squeeze one more in. Will be the last one of the season, and we're going to be moving towards doing new things. Basically, rolling into some interviews and trying to get some other shit going with you guys, starting with some locals first, but we'll be spreading it across the pond here a little bit. I look forward to that part of it. We've sort of tinkered around with it a little bit, so we know it works. Should be a lot of fun. Yeah. We'll obviously reach out to you, and we look forward to having some cool conversations with a variety of some Florida folks and beyond.
Yeah, so thank you guys for enjoying our little history series or whatever you want to call it, story series here at the beginning of the season. Yeah, we're going to transition over to interviews in 24. I think we're going to do some local breeders first and start with some people coming up, bro. And then we'll see where it rolls into. I think we can get some good people on here. But at the same time, we want to keep it 100 and get some people on here that need exposure that don't already have it. So, and I think that'll be our first episode. So you guys will hear more about that. Yeah, season finale probably next week. We'll release it before Christmas.
Oh, and I have a couple other things before we go, as always. So I have a couple other things before we go. The homie 305 Genetics is running a sale right now. If you go over to his Instagram, check him out. Really help him out at the moment. Also, the homie Cushy Melts Candles. If you guys need some last minute holiday ideas, use the code SG10. It'll score you a free pack of seeds. Any order over $100 will get 3 to 5 extra packs of seeds on top of the original freebie. So yeah, hit both of those people up. Check them out. Cushy Melts with a Z on Instagram, 305 Genetics on Instagram. If you want to follow the page, check us out at Square Grouper Podcast on Instagram. Both our handles are in the bio. All that good stuff. Sorry to interrupt you, Dave. I just wanted to make sure that I had that out.
No, and you guys can check out my buddy Florganics on Instagram. It's Florganics_. I think you can get his seeds at Propagation Station in Kissimmee. And maybe from a few other seed banks. I don't think he does direct sales right now.
That's awesome. Good for him.
But
man.
Yeah, guys, that's our
Good
episode. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Fox, you got anything else to tell them? Happy holidays?
No, I'm going to save all my happy bitters and jitters for the next episode. So stay tuned and don't forget to support those local companies I mentioned. And go ahead and, have a good week before the holidays, 2 weeks before the holidays. I don't know. I'm celebrating mine early, so it's kind of fucked my timeline up. But either way, we'll see you guys soon for the last one of the year. Peace.